Well, that's something.
I mean,
Just
he's not wrong.
expected, people.
We do, but it's still, you got to take
I know,
care.
Chris, sometimes like we've all been on planes where you can hear people getting anxious or you feel it. Or sometimes I've been on a plane where then it was bumpy and then they landed and people cheered like, good job,
Oh, yeah.
pilot.
Yep. Yeah, when it's a rough
did a
ride on
nice
the way
landing.
in, it's worth a golf clap.
And you're just happy. By the way, I'm somebody who's a little skittish about turbulence myself. So speaking from experience, and I also just want to start as a reminder that you are okay. Planes are designed to handle turbulence, even extreme turbulence days like yesterday. And speaking of yesterday, yes, we are used to getting turbulence at Denver International Airport, but what we saw yesterday was a bit unusual. We'll start things off with an explainer why. This is the airport here. What we had yesterday, and this is typical for this time of year, is we had a lot of what we call dry microbursts. These are localized little rushes of wind, erratic 40, 50 mile an hour winds, and the blue arrows representing the different wind directions. Planes hate this, right? You've got a wind out of the northeast and then suddenly it comes out of the southwest and it's at 30, 40, 50 miles an hour. So planes coming into land and then it's got to go back around. We saw a lot of these go arounds and that was part of the issue. That's why eventually those planes run out of fuel. They have to get diverted. That was one part of it, though this is fairly typical for this time of year. What was a little unusual about that was that right after those dry microbursts, we had 30 to at times 50 mile an hour north winds behind that cold front that moved through around 5 o'clock yesterday. And so you had strong winds, plus you had those dry microbursts. What that created was a whole lot of wind shear. That is the change in wind speed and direction with height. That makes it really, really bumpy coming in, and that extreme turbulence that led to some of those reports that you heard about with one person hospitalized due to the turbulence as they were diverted to Colorado Springs. So yesterday's turbulence was unusual. That was worse than usual, than what we typically have. Dry microbursts, that approaching cold front, and that wind. And again, as you go up in elevation, that wind direction and speed was all changing around as you had all that. So an unusually bad day for DIA weather. And even again, at the airport, we're used to having wacky weather. We talk about it's in the part of the city that is most prone to getting wacky weather. But what we saw yesterday was a bit more extreme than usual.